there early in the morning every day. They have coffee. Home, you try to sleep a little bit. I think most of us went home and just kept working, and then you regroup the following day. So it's. I mean, I think it's open to anybody. So when you sign up, you say I'm a business person, or I'm a marketer, or I'm a developer, and then you just kind of. It's really cool the way that we all came together because one minute you're doing a quick pitch about your idea, the next minute everybody's going around voting for the ideas that they like, and then shortly after that you're just it's like a mad gab of everybody trying to connect with one another to find the team that they want to be part of and the idea and the project that they want to work on.
Right. Anyone who wants to give a pitch can give a pitch, and then I think 15 of the ideas are selected. And once your idea is selected, now you have to form a team of 3 or more. And in that mix, you form that team. And at the end, you do I think a 10-minute presentation, or it might have been a 5-minute presentation. And then there's judges that listen to that and watch the demos.
So you said that both you, Michael, and Alex both had submissions that had passed that. So you were both working on teams, and then you merged. What drove you to merge things together? What was the foresight there?
That's a good question.
Well, I was building a social app that was just trying to monitor reputation and allow you to meet new people. And Alex's idea was originally about bringing your own lunch to work, and you could you bring lunch for your colleagues who could buy it out from you. And it just, when we had already been talking to each other, and then to me it just seemed like it made sense, so that also Andre was on Alex's team, and it would have been nice to have additional dev talent, and that led to the merging.
Yeah, I'd say that's probably one of the key considerations at these events. Kind of like in the real world, ideas are all over the place. Like there's a lot of energy, there's a lot of entrepreneurial, just spirit where I got this idea, I've got, this project, we can do this, we can change that. But development talent, just like in the real world, is kind of a rare commodity. So the fact that we had, not only I had Andre on my team originally, and then Mike came over. He's like, I'm a developer too. It was a kind of a no-brainer to merge because everybody else, if you don't have a developer at one of these events, it's very hard to build a functioning prototype or to really get your idea across.
So Alex, are you more on the side of the business side of things, or what's your background?
Yeah, I'm definitely on the business side. So I have a little bit of a development background as far as front end, CSS, things like that. I can tweak and mess around. I did free code camp training course a while back, and I've just been dabbling for forever. Right now in my day job, I'm a data analyst, so I do a lot of scripting as far as like query languages, SQL and DAX and things like that. But I'm kind of the marketing guy, and I make sure to try to keep the vision alive. But a lot of times it's really, I think my role is looking at what Andre and what Mike and what the rest of the team come up with and just saying, holy cow, this is cool. They're I would consider them the talent,
So you had the startup, lasted a weekend. At the end of the weekend, what did you actually have to demonstrate for whoever was judging the startup weekend?
Do you want to talk about this, Andre?
So at the end of the startup weekend, we had to give a final presentation, which includes our business strategy, the monetization, and the prototype. And we covered all of them. We actually had a simple prototype that you can click through. It was like a fake data, but actually it was kind of functioning. Yes, and at the end it was successful because we got the first place, and we were really happy and surprised in a positive way. Yeah.
Yeah, very much it was a controlled demo where we were controlling the clicks. And now we're moving into an actual functioning app that we can put users on that can enjoy.
Okay.
How often do these things, go through the initial prototype phase and go through the weekend and then nothing comes of that?
I think it's pretty common. I think that probably the point of the startup weekend event is to get you acclimated with here are the steps of the process, kind of in this super compressed hyper event where it's not really expected that you'll go on to make this an idea or make this something that is an actual product or business. But I don't know. For me, I met this crew that was, super efficient at really just putting out a product, coming up with consensus, and I think, in my opinion, that's hard to come by. So I didn't want to let that go. I was like, guys, if we don't build this, let's build something because it's all about the team, and we seem to function really well as a team.
Yes, I
Some
think
of it was
like a 10% of projects are continuing after that. That's 1 out of 10, so it's not that much.
some of it was momentum. Sorry.
Okay, no, that's fine. Yeah, go ahead.
Some of it was momentum. So Alex was our marketing officer. He really hit the pavement, and he had set something up where every time someone new had interest in the project and requested a beta, it would ping our Slack channel, and there was a channel called Motivation. And so when we got to that decision of are we going to go our separate ways, we had all of these users that were lined up in that Slack, and made it a little bit harder to abandon because you've got some traction, you've got some people talking about it, and as Alex just continued marketing, we continued building and keeping that motivation alive, keeping the traction. There was a moment where Lunchpool was stalling. We were having too much information and feedback, and we needed to organize that info. But continuing to have small successes really helped us to trudge along. Whereas if we were unable to develop at that moment, the project very well could have died. So persevering and having successes and progress, it helped us to all stay motivated and keep the team together.
Yes, I agree. I think Alex is our leader, our frontman that integrate team around him, and it's a very important role he's right now. Yeah.
You guys are gonna make me blush, but I will agree with that. I'd say there was a point where one of our teammates that we met at Startup Weekend, Tom, he was on site. He was kind of I would say like a COO role. He was the operations guy that was like, okay, guys, Alex, shut the heck up. Like, yes, you have a billion ideas. We need to focus. We need to get, corral around this timeline that we've been given. And that's super, that's very, it's an important role. After the competition, Tom happened to be on I think it's a J1 visa. He's in town from the UK. And so he can't work for something if it's a business. And he's very, he's the kind of guy that's super compliant. So, there was a part where I was like, I'm not good at this. I'm not good at, making these operations and, figuring out the structure of the Slack channels and what goes where and all this stuff. So we made a cardboard version of Tom, and we call him Cardboard Tom. We've also got a Slack bot that we still need to train. But I just kind of channeled my inner Tom, and I was like, these guys, the whole team, we need to make sure that we're focused. We need to make sure that the energy that we have and the traction that we've already gotten stays channeled in a direction. And so, there was definitely a while, these guys can speak to it. Andre was like, okay, what's the feature roadmap? And I was still spouting off ideas. So I don't even know how we came together to really solidify it. I would say probably bringing in Pooja, who has a product development experience, was a big step in that. But it's really just a team effort. It's, you have to have that trust on the team for everybody to say, if someone is working in the wrong direction or acting out of line, you have to have that trust to say, hey, I'm going to be candid with you so that we can move forward, if that makes sense.
All right. So I believe you said earlier that that the project is about 4 months old. So since the startup weekend, what progress have you made on it? What's the app look like now?
Right. So our product right now, it has the ability to make lunch groups, so people can go to lunch. They can chat with one another to set up the location and the time. We have a few features planned on the roadmap, such as you mark when you're ready, and then it'll do like a 5, 4, 3, 2, let's lunch. And in that way, it's functioning, and people are able to create these lunch events. And right now, we're injecting notifications where you'll get an email notification or an icon will pop up on the app so that you know something's occurring. And so people can invite other people to lunch, and then you accept that invite. And you can have a private group or you can have a public group. And really, we're just trying to get the product out there so that we can generate feedback and iterate on that feedback to get everyone really enjoying the product.
Okay. And is this a website or mobile device, or I don't know if you said it earlier, but I had some audio issues, so I missed it.
So right now we are building like a web-based app. It's a progressive web app, so actually it can have some features like you can add icon to your iOS. Yeah, it will be like you can watch on your web view, because that was the easiest to start with, and we can later, if there's a need, like also do native apps for that. But as a prototype, we think it's just enough to start with the web-based app.
Right. So for the design that we did off of Startup Weekend, we actually made a React app, and then after the fact, we made a React Native app. And then our team decided that it worked better if we would just stay with React, and for speed of development and delivery, that's what we were going to do. And we can always cross the bridge of adding that React Native element when it's needed. And so what we're going to do is a React Native web view with trusted web activities that will get us as close as possible to a native functionality that a web app can get you. And you can do things like on message is a React Native prop you can pass that will actually, if there's a notification, send that through the app, and your web app sends it a command and it will update to the user's phone.
So you had any initial challenges that you had to tackle, or is it really more about staying focused and or staying hyper focused and delivering just the minimum viable product at this point?
I would say one of the challenges that probably the team saw was one of the prizes that we had was one of the sponsors of the Startup Weekend event brought us on to talk with their executive team. And we had joked around, how cool would it be if they signed up to be our beta tester? Because they have about 650 plus employees, and they actually did. And they asked, when can you have a working MVP that we can get in front of our employees? And I think I just out of sheer nervousness, I said, we can have it in March, early spring. And I think I got a couple of dirty looks from Mike and Andre, but that that has been a challenge, is building not only the infrastructure of a business and that kind of planning, but also figuring out, okay, now we're going the B2B route. What does that mean? Should it be a progressive web app? Should it be just, are they going to be able to use it on their phone? Are they going to be on their computer most of the time? So a lot of those type things, I would say, are pretty challenging. What did you guys think when I threw that data out there?
So from the beginning, I always thought having a deadline was amazing, because it had an ending, right? Where if we couldn't get it together, it fails on that day. But if we can get it together, now we know when we need to get it done by. So I like that aspect. And yeah, we have to know our customer. And then as we roll more companies on, we have different customers. Some may use Slack, some may use Microsoft products for communication.
What's the value to companies coming on board? Are you providing any metrics or any usage data back to the companies, or how does that work?
Right.
Yeah,
so we're going to be tracking just about every click, and we're going to have some sort of visualization for our business that will analyze what's going on there. And we're having the database that we can query it later. But once we have all this data, we're going as a business to try to figure out what metrics we can provide. Alex has had a few ideas regarding that.
Yeah, one of the things that I came across in my research was the real core problem that we're trying to solve. It's not really just planning your lunch break, but it's a little bit deeper than that. It's getting those connections with your coworkers and other professionals, because right now we're so acclimated by the mobile culture and social media, who their goal is to get us in their app, always scrolling through, looking at ads. And so it kind of creates this antisocial behavior where you spend your lunch break in front of your keyboard, you're eating a salad over your desk, but you're not making those connections like we used to make. So our goal is to get or help companies have stronger culture, because their employees actually know one another well enough that they go to lunch from time to time, and talk about just non-work stuff. The visualization that Mike was alluding to, I think we've done some research in like social network analysis and social network graphing. So what we really want is a visualization in the back end that shows a living, breathing look at how healthy, how much social capital exists within your company. And from an HR perspective, how can I facilitate those? How can I get my sales team to talk to my dev team, because they have never interacted at all? And from our early research and what we've talked to some HR leaders about, they say that's very valuable if we can pull that off.
Yeah, it's really cool. We the group of people that I work with, we have a term we call happy lunch, and it's basically doing exactly that. If you're going on happy lunch, then you're going with everyone. But it'd be really nice we have to use Slack or Teams or something like that to communicate those things out. And depending on how things are going and where people are, it's been difficult to sort of catch people. I'm a consultant, so we shift around all the time, different clients, and so it's difficult to do this. So I really do see the need, and I think there's a lot of benefit for what you're talking about.
I like that happy lunch. We might need to borrow that from you,
as opposed to sad lunch, which you go eat by yourself.
I mean, I've seen a lot of sad lunches, crying into your salad as you look over Excel reports.
Just the Excel would make me cry. So what are your future plans for growing your team? How long until you think you'll be ready to expand and start to really push how quickly you can develop the application?
Andre, do you want to talk about that? Because I know we've had some discussions internally. From my perspective, I think that it's nice to have a small team when you start out, because you don't want a fragmented design. But once we get a lot of the processes developed out, I know we're going to have to move fast. We've had some discussions. Andre, what are your thoughts on that?
Yeah, so right now our goal is to have the MVP ready for beta testing for our next free companies. So when we achieve and we can iterate our features, we can still get some people on board, because I don't know exactly, but we are all the time open, especially for developers that are specialized in React, and we are using also Firebase as a backend service. So that's our stack, and for sure we'll be getting on board more people soon.
So if you have any listeners,
right now, of course, we can't offer it's there's no money compensation in this point, but we'll try.
It's an interesting point. We've started using something that another startup recommended to me called slicing pie. There's a whole book and a program around it, but it bills itself as the world's most fair equity split calculator. So we've been tracking our time, any money that we put in, all the contributions that each individual member makes. So that way, what it creates is this grunt fund. So once we do get to revenue, then we'll have a very fair equity split out of it. And it's great for a project like this because let's say that we were to split everything, 25% right out of the gate, and that's how it is going to be forever. But then, I have some kind of life event, I have to drop out, but these guys keep developing it. Well, it's not really fair for me to still have 25%. So what happens is as the pie grows, if I don't continue to help build that pie, then my percentage is going to shrink. And vice versa. The more time I put in, the more incentive that I am because I'm going to get more equity out of it. So it's a really cool program, and I think we've adopted it. We're starting to play around with how that's going to look in the future. But yeah, any other developers that are interested in a cool project trying to solve a big problem, we'd love to hear from them.
Do you have
our team? Our
ahead.
team definitely has needs that we keep track of. Right now, we use Firebase. There's a socket that listens to see when the database updates, and that's how all of our users get the update at once. It will let them know that the database is updated, and they'll make a new GET request to get that information. And when it gets to a large enough level, it's not a problem right now. But when scalability becomes a concern, we're going in planning on having a replacement, but that's almost years down the line because right now we're going company by company and there's an upper limit on the amount of users that we have. And the ultimate goal is with these verified users, we move into smaller companies and spread out, and then ultimately we're public and we've got this large user base with a number of verified users that are having lunch, and that scalability problem will need to be solved one day down the line. And also with our app and all the features being React related, that is another thing that is a need on our team.
Yeah, speaking of users and scalability, what do you have any methodology for people to sort of like companies to beta test this or get involved and connected with you?
Yeah,
if they're interested.
Yeah, basically, one thing that we've really been focusing on is we want to have not only a useful app, but we want to have a cool app. And I've been in corporate America long enough to know that if my company adopts a tool, especially something like this that's around lunchtime or socialization, and they say, hey, we've got this new app that we bought, go use it, I'm probably not going to use it. So we've really been focusing a lot of our marketing efforts around the individual users themselves and what the value is for them and their network and their professional career. And so that way they're the ones that are doing the beta requesting. And then once we have that kind of critical mass in a company, maybe like 25% of the employees in a building are asking for this, then we'll say, let's unlock it. Let's go to you. We'll approach your company and say, hey, your people want this. So that's the way we're handling it right now is we have on our website, it's you can go to letslunchpool.com and you can fill out a beta request. So we're kind of screening those beta requests. We're helping give the people the tools that they need to let their other coworkers know about it. But we just, I don't want to go straight to the company because we want the people to be the ones that are advocating for it and kind of the early adopters there.
That's it. Seems excellent. Well, do you guys have, one of the things we always ask is sort of for people to kind of look at advice to people getting started, and maybe you guys can kind of look back on the startup weekend or kind of getting into this a startup itself. Do you have any advice for people that are that have ideas that want to try out? What should they do?
So I've done a number of projects on my own that were on GitHub, and I've worked with other developers. This is the first time I've actually worked with a business, and the business's main job was to validate that this app was actually going to generate revenue, or that people were actually interested in this. We did surveys, and I would say finding an event where you can meet some business side people can make a big impact with your building these businesses. It's a very different experience.
So what I learned from my business adventures so far is that the idea itself is worth nothing. The most important is team. So you can have a bad idea, but a good team, and you can be successful. But you can have very nice idea, but with poor team, you will not achieve anything. So for me, it's networking is crucial. So such events like Startup Weekend, they facilitate the networking, and that's the true value of kind of events. Yeah. So I would recommend just focus on networking, and don't just hide your business and because sometimes people, they have brilliant ideas and they spend half a year coding in the basement, but then it's wasted time, because usually they're building something that people don't want.
Yeah, and I'll piggyback off that and say that in college I had about 3 business startups that I started before I realized I was trying to do everything by myself. I really needed to learn to delegate and work with other people. And now this experience, just seeing how liberating it can be to have an idea and have a team that buys into that vision and helps you build it together, because where we are right now is 1,000 miles beyond anything I would have been able to come up with by myself. And so I agree with what these guys said. It's all about the team. So find people that you align with, not just on a communication that you can communicate with level, but also people that align to your goals and your values, and start something. It's never, the earlier you start, the better you're going to be, because you're going to have roadblocks, you're going to have hurdles, but if you have the right team, you guys will you'll come up with solutions to those. You'll learn. I think I've read about 6 books so far since we started this 4 months ago. So just do it. Everybody's got these ideas, but you don't want to be the person that says, "Oh yeah, I got this $1 billion app idea, and it would totally work if I only knew the right people." Like, go find those people and go, put your money where your mouth is. Get it done. Fail. Learn from the failure, and keep going.
Awesome.
As a developer, when someone came to me and said, "I've already validated that this idea, I've figured out with metrics and surveyed people, and there's a real need for this," then it's a much bigger enticement for a developer to get involved. And then on the developer side, having built projects on your own, you know how to organize everything and come up with new features for yourself. But then when you have to work with a team, how do you get consensus? Often you get that from marketing and from surveying people, so that you can get honest results. There's a book that Andre recommended a while back called The Mom Test, which is how to get people to not lie to you when you present your idea. So we've read a lot of books to try to figure out how to get better feedback.
Excellent. And then do you have a Twitter that you guys, or some social media plug that you'd like to plug for Lunchpool?
Yeah, you can find us on so Twitter, it's Let's Lunchpool. Think of like carpooling, it's lunch pooling. Don't go to lunch by yourself, just like you don't want to drive by yourself. So at Let's Lunchpool, that's on Twitter and Instagram. And then Facebook is also facebook.com/Let's Lunchpool.
And I also sometimes tweet out some technology related learning, and my Twitter handle is at @m_Dimmitt. And Often I'll even tweet out Lunchpool stuff as well.
Yeah.
Cool.
Very nice. Well, thank you guys so much.
Thanks for
Thank
having
you.
us on. This was great. Yeah, we're excited. You got new subscribers to your podcast too, because I wanna learn how to be a 6-figure developer.
Excellent. Well, thank you so much.
Thank you.
guys.
That was Alex, Andre, and Mike from Lunchpool. Lunchpool is on a mission to help build stronger connections through lunch break networking. The app helps facilitate frictionless lunch planning so that you can meet other professionals with similar interests or goals.
If you like this episode, please like, rate, and review on iTunes.
Find show notes, blog posts, and more at sixfiguredev.com.
And be sure to follow us on Twitter at sixfiguredev.
This has been another episode of the Six Figure Developer Podcast, helping others reach their potential. I am John Calloway.
I'm Clayton
Hunt.
Hunt. You're not Clayton Hunt.
I'm not Clayton Hunt. Go ahead, Clayton.
I'm Clayton Hunt.
And I'm John Ash.